feminist I knew. She was also a devoted Catholic and firmly pro-choice. Mom derived a deep sense of peace and community from the church and from leading her congregation in song. She also held on to 1950s ideals of being ladylike and always having dinner on the table for me and Dad. To her, I never wore skirts as much as I should, made too many sex jokes, and swore too much. I still don't, and still do, and do. But at the same time, she was a member of the League of Women Voters, volunteered for the Peace Corps in Ecuador, held a master's degree in public health, was the mayor of our city, was passionate about waste management and domestic violence prevention, and was a firm believer in abortion rights. So firm that upon attending as mayor a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the abortion clinic in our city, she was kicked out of the church choir by her priest. This broke her heart. But she somehow managed to hold fast onto both her belief in God and in bodily autonomy. She continued her work for reproductive rights, and she found a new church and led them in song. My mom died on June 21st, 2003. I still love and miss her very much. And although I am now an agnostic who only sometimes makes dinner on time, I carry with me her measured, passionate activism for reproductive justice and rights. Up until recently, I was a clinic escort for 2 abortion clinics in the metro area. So clinic escorts are pretty much the first physical line of defense in the process to obtain an abortion. We are the people in bright, dorky vests at the entrance to the clinic, rain or shine, hot or freezing, waving you in and walking you to the door, all the while shielding you from the anti-abortion sidewalk counselors on the edge of the property. These are people holding pictures of large bloody body parts and signs that say, "God loves you and your baby." These are the people who yell at you, either condemning you to hell or asking you to please don't kill your baby, or somehow both at the same time. These are people who purposely misdirect you to the fake clinic across the street. These are the people who will go to enormous lengths to interfere with, confuse, and upset you, a person seeking abortion care. They glower at us escorts with looks that could kill. They scream invectives at us. They call the police. They pray at us. They run up to patients' cars and shove pamphlets inside. They break their kids. They blare religious music from Bluetooth speakers. They build deer stands that overlook the fence that divides their property from the clinic so they can continue visibly yelling at patients. And these people, they know absolutely nothing about the circumstances under which women and girls seek abortion. The married woman in her 30s, who drove up with her 2 children and her sister, who hadn't intended to become pregnant, maintains a large farm in the heartland and knows that neither she or her husband can financially provide for another child. The elderly Somali mother who accompanied her daughter to the clinic. She doesn't speak English, but she definitely understands the acrimonious fury coming from the sidewalk, no matter how much I try to shield her, and she is frightened by it. The young man accompanying his girlfriend. He told me he's worried for her, but he loves her so much, and he knows she is making the best decision for her and for their relationship. But in his fragile emotional state, he can't help but lash out at the man on the deer stand, pointedly telling him that black babies' lives matter. The teenager who was never taught proper sex ed and who is confused and insecure about their identity. They're also, a teenager, and teenagers are impulsive and hormonal. But they still really want to go to college and earn their business degree and see the world, help the world, and have a family. The woman in an abusive relationship who, for whatever reason that is not our business, cannot or will not leave. She may or may not already have a child with this man. She knows he will become violent if he finds out she's pregnant, and he certainly will be violent toward the child. She does not want it to have to endure that kind of life. A young woman whose birth control failed. A girl who was coerced into sex for her own survival. A woman whose very much wanted fetus has a fatal anomaly. A woman who waves hello to me and confidently walks into the clinic because she knows herself and she knows her life, and she knows that she cannot and does not want to become pregnant or have a child right now. These are the reasons women and girls have abortions, and these are the people escorts see every day. And your daughters Sisters, mothers, friends, aunts, nieces, cousins, with their personalities and their livelihoods and their families and their messy, complicated, difficult circumstances that you may not always agree with, they matter. And their right to choose is worth defending. These are the women and girls my mother and others like her fought for. I am that woman she fought for. My nieces and cousins and friends' daughters are the women I fight for. And much like my mother, I will never, ever stop fighting to keep abortion safe, legal, and accessible.